Holy moly, it's 90 degrees out here in the garage, 4th of July. I'm working on a bunch of different things. I got the transponder tore apart here. I've done this a while ago. Dug all the batteries out, the original batteries out, and put new batteries in, and it worked. And then I had a problem where I didn't get scored at a race, and I know it was blinking just like it is now. What happens is the batteries, I didn't have the batteries soldered together. There's little tinfoil strips that you can solder in between there. And what happens is when those batteries break connection, the transponder shuts off. The only way to, even if they're full of juice, the only way to reset it is to put it back on the charger again and pull it off. So what I'm doing now is the place I bought the batteries at said they'd test them. So I charged it to make sure they had juice in them. And as you see here, it blinks 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got four days worth of battery life, right? So they're gonna test them. Then I'm gonna have the guy solder them together, and then I'm gonna actually have them solder it back in before I fill it with silicone, and be done with it. So I worked on that. Transponder mount. Had to make a mount for the transponder. Ooh, there's a wasp. Man, the bugs are gone crazy in here. That 4th of July video, that spider was jumping all around. This is what I came up with. Just a little clamp with a piece of aluminum on it, a little drill and a little tap, and that's Richard's transponder there. His is only blinking, it's twice now, but it was 3 days. So we might have to look at getting batteries in his one of these days too. So we got that going. We also took delivery of the wheels. We bought them from BMI online. Indoor go-kart joint. They're into a whole bunch of stuff. Look at this, 3.125 wide. Who on God's green earth would ever be able to use one of these? Is this Junior Dragster wheel or something? What the heck is this? Douglas makes the half that we need to clear our brake caliper, but they won't put a front side on there that we can use to make a complete wheel. Fools, foolish, ridiculous. By 24 wheels, they tell me. I don't think so. I told you I was going to machine these wheels apart. Well, all of our friends that have machines are either, 2 days of shipping from here, which we don't have time for, and the guys that are in town are just too busy to deal with us. So we went over to Richie's. We were going to just score the weld with this bandsaw. We set up a little guide fixture. We put on the table of his saw. We put wood to keep the wheel from moving, and got it all dialed in, and his blades got a little twang to it. So what I ended up doing is I put it on a hub, bolted her down with studs, right? Clamped it on a piece of 1.25 inch tubing, put it in the vise, and I just went around the weld with the hacksaw and got a nice straight line in it. After we used a little file action to get a line going. And the reason I didn't bring you all that, and I'll do that in another video and put it up before this one. So I'm actually recording them backwards, but you'll look at them in sequence. Way down in here, I don't want to get the light right on it, but let me get my pointer. How far do you go? Well, I'm showing you right here. You see that little spot right there? That's an air hole. That's a void. Okay, you see another one here. We're just starting to get to the bottom of that weld, or at least into the air pockets between beads as the robotic welder welded it around. So it's a process of little bit at a time, and go ahead and use we got a stainless steel wire brush, and get the debris out of there and really take a look at it, because we can't whack this thing, we can't bang the two pieces apart. We've got to get a majority of those little voids showing up, but not any further, because we don't want to cut into the 1/8 inch thickness of each half of the wheel. Just enough to where we'll be able to pull that sucker apart, and I'll bring that to you as well. So this is the hard way, the long way to do it, and I used to fight this whole thing. Way back when I was a punk kid, I used to paint cars in my mom's garage. I do bumping and painting, rust repair. I painted a diesel truck for my brother-in-law and my sister's welding shop right in my mom's driveway. That's right in the neighborhood. Limousines. This fella brought me a pink limousine, and I ended up painting the vinyl top was burgundy, so we ended up painting it white with vinyl paint, and then painting the limo, the door jambs, everything white, red striping it, taping it off. Really nice. You did a whole bunch of work like that when I was just 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. trying to get a job at a body shop, at say an auto dealer or something. They wanted the certificate and I didn't have one, so I went to body school. And I'll try to cut this short. The owner of the auto body school started us out like, you know, he knew I had experience because, you know, he saw the stuff that I had painted. The car I was driving, I had painted myself. So he knew I had experience, but he wanted me to not tell any of the other guys or whatever in the class that I had any experience, because he didn't want them coming to me instead of going to him. And he took me right back to the beginning, where you were literally had the boogie board and you had to sand by hand and the rubber block and the whole 9 yards, and doing it by hand and feeling it by hand before you used an air tool like a DA or an air file. And I said, come on, man, it's going to take me a million hours to do it this way. And he said, listen, what are you going to do if the power goes on? What are you going to do if you don't have that machine to cut that wheel, Robert? I don't have a lathe. You know, you can go fund me, y'all, if you want to. Send me a lathe. I'll put my address down below. But I've always been a by hand kind of person. Brent, you're looking in. You know what I mean, right? If you don't have what you need and you don't have the time, you got to be able to have the wherewithal to do it by hand. Yes, it takes a lot longer. It's physical labor. It's 90 degrees. It's 4th of July. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do. Next weekend, I'm going to be running these wheels, a piece from each one of those wheels on the front of my car with some new-to-me tires, seeing what it's all about, other than making sure the transponder's not shaking itself apart and the extra radiator is cooling the motor off like it should be. We didn't get to test in April, so we're trying to get as many things on the car as we can for each individual issue, trying not to overlap too many things. So that's where we're at. I think I could probably get 2 of these done today, and then another 2 maybe tomorrow. The tires are going to be here. Thanks, Keith, from Margay. They're Saturday delivery, so they'll be here this weekend. Before the end of the weekend, we'll have these things mounted up, and we'll bring you that video too. Buying 24 wheels was just not in the cards, man. You know what I mean? So I don't understand. They'll make a wheel that literally nobody can use, and they'll call it an on-the-shelf issue, a piece. But my wheel, that I'm sure more than just I could use, for some reason is insignificant to them. So, hey, you know, it is what it is, right? We're going to keep working on inching our way around this thing till we see more of those little voids, and then we'll be able to pop this wheel apart. We'll be able to get in there with a file and sand it and whatever, get it cleaned up. So we'll bring you more of that as it comes. I just wanted to show you part of the process, getting to how to know when to stop cutting so you don't cut into the wall of the material itself, you know what I mean, and still be able to get it apart. So that's it. Hope you're enjoying your 4th. I'll be along for those doggies in no time. God bless. We'll see y'all soon.